Hey everyone, I'm Brad Wood and I'm a solutions consultant with Sketch Development. And in this video, we'll show you several ways that Jira and Confluence can work together. Everything you'll see here is native to the tools and works out of the box. So no automation, no scripting, and no marketplace apps are required. At Sketch Development, we are an Atlassian solutions partner and we offer consulting, licensing, and training services across the entire Atlassian toolset. So with that, let's jump into the tools. All right, so we're going to start on the Jira side, and let's say we have a work item in Jira, but we need to create documentation related to it in Confluence, and that could be design notes, implementation details, etc. And rather than creating the page from scratch, we can use a variety of methods to do some of the work for us. So the first way I'm going to show is if we head up here to the plus icon right under the summary, we can click this, and then we see a number of different options of Confluence content that we could create directly from this Jira work item. So a live doc, a page, a whiteboard. We could even create a Loom video directly from this as well. Let's go to page, and we get link page or create page. So we can link an existing page or we can create a new page. So I'll just click create page, and we can see in a new window, this is the familiar Confluence editor. So all of our available formatting options and inserting media and action items, everything from Confluence is available here. You can use your macros. You can use your templates over here. We can see here as well, you can select different spaces to select space-specific templates as now. So let's just create this really quickly. So we'll just say example page, and we'll click publish. And this is going to go into my personal space currently, but you can change the location if you want to, and you can change the access level here as well. I'll click publish. I've got my example page here now, and I'm just going to close that out. And now we see that page is linked in the Confluence content section on this work item. And if I hover over this entry here, I can see a little bit of information. I can see the title, when it was last updated. I can ask AI to summarize this for me. That's really helpful. And then some other things like automation, related links, etc. And then you can open this in the preview window as well that we just saw, and you can see it kind of full screen here if you'd rather read the entire page directly from the work item. So that's one way to create a page directly from a work item. We can also hover over our Confluence content section and click the plus icon here, and we can either find an existing page. AI can link related content for us as well. We can see some just suggested articles if we click on view 5 suggestions here, or we can click create in Confluence again. This process is pretty much identical to what we just saw, but I can choose live doc, page, or whiteboard. So a couple different ways to create directly from our work item. And then one other way to do this is if we open this work item full screen, we can actually use Rovo to do this for us. So I'm going to head over here to my Ask Rovo button, and you can see the context is the work item that we have open. I'm going to say draft a Confluence page related to this work item for me, and give it its prompt. And it's going to take just a second to create this page. And so once Rovo's done its thing, we can see I've drafted a Confluence page for this epic. It's going over all of the content that it's going to include. So the title, the different sections and the bullets within those sections, some Jira links. So it's actually going to link back to this epic, which is really nice. And if I click on preview, I get a preview of the page. So I can see this here. I can click in here and make edits if I'd like to. And then when I want to save this, I can click add to Confluence. So I think this is really handy. It's included a checklist. It's included the key of the epic that is what this page was created from, and a lot of other information as well. So those are 3 different ways to create Confluence content directly from your Jira work items. Okay, so back at our epic, we're going to talk a little bit about smart links. And smart links in Jira can give us a preview of related Confluence content, without the need to switch tools and interrupt our working process. And to create one of these is really straightforward. You're just going to go to any paragraph style field, and this will actually work in the comment section as well. So we'll just click in description, for example, and I will paste my link. And we see here example page. It's kind of like a lozenge style display here. If I click on this, I have several different display options as well. So I could just display the URL as you would see it in your browser. The inline, which I just described as a lozenge, but inline is the proper term here. We can change this to a card, which I think is kind of helpful, and you can see a little bit more information here. And you could also open that preview panel again that we just saw earlier. And then you can also change this to embed, which is actually going to give us kind of a, as the content actually exists preview directly in our description field. So if you want to see kind of a full page preview of your content, you would change that to the embed option there. You can change the alignment of the page if you'd like to do that. You can edit the link here and then open that preview panel or open this link in a new tab directly from your description field. And then I'll just click save. And then now this page is essentially embedded within my Jira work item. So I think that's really handy, and you can actually edit the page directly from here as well, assuming you have the proper permissions. So that is a great way to surface your Confluence content on your Jira work items as well. Maybe you don't want just a link to the content. Maybe you want to actually be able to view the content and even edit and interact with the content, show comments, share it, copy a link to it, add your reactions, or even add a comment. You can do all that directly from your Jira work items. For our final example on the Jira side, let's say a development team is ready to push out a new version of their product, but they also need to publish release notes. Jira can do this for us by using a predefined template and using values from the actual work items within the release. So I've just got this example release, and I'm going to click release. And we see here, create release notes. I'm going to need to check that box and click release. And then I need to set some parameters here. So Confluence space or parent item. I'm just going to use my personal space here. And then include all work types. I'm just going to leave that selected because I want to include information from all of the work items that are in this release. And then I can choose which fields I want to include in my release notes. So right now I'm keeping this pretty simple with just assignee, description, issue type or work item type, and summary. But you can see there are a number of fields that you can choose to include here. And we'll just click create in Confluence. And here's what this template looks like. So it's pulled the name of my release here, and then the day and time that this is being released. We can see here, here's a link to the release, that date again, the version, so 26.1.1. Here's my description. Obviously, in the real world, this would be something different than just testing. Contributors is just me right now. And here's all those work items that were within the release. So not only is this formatting it in a nice table, but this is in an expand macro as well. So you can collapse that if you need to. Here's that assignee. None of these issues had descriptions on them, but if they did, they would be shown here in the description column. And then you can actually edit this page over in Confluence if you need to by adding the summary, new features, improvements that were made, bug fixes, etc. And then once I'm happy with this, I would just click publish, and that will publish my page over in Confluence. So I really like this feature. I think this template looks really nice. It's got these nice info panels and other helpful text. The tables are formatted nicely. And again, this is all out of the box. So no automation needing to be configured, no scripting, and no marketplace apps needed to create your release notes from your Jira release. So we've seen some ways to create and edit Confluence content from Jira, but how about the other way around? So starting in Confluence and either interacting with Jira work items, creating Jira work items, etc., we can certainly do that. So for our first example, let's say we're in a meeting and we're capturing action items. Rather than creating those work items manually in Jira, we can use native functionality to do this for us. So what we can do with our action items is we can highlight one or more of these and click the 3 dots and click Create Jira Work Items. And we can choose whether or not we want Rovo to generate a summary and description for these. Here are our parameters here. So it's going to create these in our Sketch Dev site in our Atlassian space, but we can configure this to be a different space. And maybe I want these to be stories instead of epics. Then we'll go back here. Actually, I need to click Save. So click Story, then Save. Now I've got all my different stories here, and I can edit these if I'd like to by clicking the pencil icon. And this is going to be similar to our Create screen over in Jira. So all of my different fields that I can see here, we can see it's generated a summary and a description. So these are AI or Rovo generated values, but I can edit these if I need to and set all my different fields. Maybe I want to set the assignee, so me, for example, on this one. And when I'm ready to create that work item, I will just click Create. And I can do that for all of these work items, or I could just click Create All. And maybe I don't want one of these for some reason. I can just click the X, so I won't create that one. And then I can just click the check mark to create this as is with all of the values that Rovo generated for me. We can see that it has added smart links to those new work items that have been created. And we'll talk more about these in just a second. And if we go over to Jira, we can see that the Jira work item also has a link to the Confluence content now. So connecting the dots between those work items we created and the page that it was created from. And again, this is all out of the box functionality. Speaking of those smart links, let's talk about those next. So just like in Jira, we can add smart links in Confluence, and we see a couple examples of those here. If I edit this page, we can scroll down and click on the smart link. We've got all those same formatting options, so URL, inline. The card is helpful in your Confluence page if you want to see a little bit of a preview of that work item. Some of these fields are interactive as well, like the status dropdown, for example. And you can see the summary and who it's assigned to, etc. You can open this in the preview panel, or if you want to change this to the embed function, this is going to be like your Jira view screen. So you've got all the functionality over here, including linking work items and utilizing some actions and changing the status, updating watchers, adding values to all these different fields. So this is fully interactive. You can even add comments here. I think this is super useful. Again, helping you not have to navigate all the way back to Jira to update your work items. And again, this is all through these smart links. We've also got some other functions that we can perform in Confluence related to Jira content. So I'm just going to create a new line at the bottom of my page, and I'm going to use my /Jira shortcut to see some of these macros that are available. We'll see some examples of these in just a second that I've added to the top of this page. But we've got Jira work items, for example, charts. Here's another way to create Jira work items. You can embed a timeline from your Jira space. And if you are on Jira Premium, you can embed a plan as well, and those are interactive. So let's scroll to the top and see a couple examples of this. Here is an example of the Jira table, and if I click on this and click Edit, and then Edit Search Query, this is just like searching for work items in Jira. So you can use the basic mode, which is what we're seeing here, or you can write a JQL query if you need to get more specific. And then within this list view, you can configure the columns. So all of your system and custom fields are going to be available here, and you can search for the fields that you need directly from this search field. And then some of these fields are interactive as well. So You can change the assignee, you can change the status, change the priority, etc. And you can add additional columns directly from the table as well. So that is the Jira work items macro. Again, super useful for stand-ups or project review meetings, something like that. Here we've got an example of a chart that you can add in Confluence based on Jira content. So let's edit this and see how this is configured. So we've chosen the pie chart here. This is just a simple search query of everything that's in this specific space. And we are displaying those work items by status. And so in this case, we are just looking at the overall count of how many tickets are in each of these statuses in this space. But you also have created versus resolved as an option. You can do some more complex charts with the two-dimensional option here as well. And you can get a preview of what that chart is going to look like when you configure this, and your search query can be a lot more complex than what we've got here. This is just for an example. And then lastly, here's an example of a Jira timeline. So this is the timeline out of our same space. You can see this is fully interactive as well. So I can expand parent work items. I can change the timeline in terms of what I'm viewing. So weeks, months, quarters, etc. I have some filtering options here as well. And I can change some of my view settings here. And again, this is all out of the box. So just like on the Jira side, we don't need any marketplace apps for this functionality. We don't need custom scripts, and we don't need to use automation. This is all right out of the box functionality, connecting the dots between Jira work items and your Confluence pages. So those are just a few practical ways that Jira and Confluence can work together out of the box. There are more advanced options as well, like automating actions between Jira and Confluence, and we have a separate video on our YouTube channel if you'd like to learn more about that topic. If you have any questions about Jira, Confluence, anything else in the Atlassian ecosystem, please feel free to reach out to me via email or LinkedIn. Both of those will be included in the description box below. I'd be happy to meet with you to discuss your unique needs. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.